Hi, SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. Today's Monday, April 11th. We are talking right now with SBR baseball writer Ian Cameron, and we have been assigned to cover the Angels-Oakland game tonight. Ian Cameron, thanks for being with us. We got Sonny Gray and Tropiano on the mound. Right now, minus 137 for Oakland at home. At Penny is the best line, plus 131 for Heritage, and the total is 7.5. Ian Cameron, Ian, look at me, Ian. Look at me, Ian. Under 7.5. Is there any reason why this is not a great play, Ian Cameron?
You know what? And we've talked about it several times already, Peter, and it's great to be with you again. But the LA Angels lineup does not scare me right now. I mean, they just don't. I mean, and you look at the statistics, and it clearly shows. You're watching this lineup a game after game really give you feeble at bats, just weak swings, not seeing the baseball very well, top to bottom, with this lineup right now, the way they're performing. I mean, it's been very, very ugly to start the year. I mean, and when Mike Trout and Albert Pujols in particular are not hitting for this team, things get really concerning for their offense. I mean, Mike Trout is batting just 200, 6 for 20 so far. Albert Pujols, you know, he got off to a very slow start last year, Peter, and he's doing more of the same here in 2016. Albert Pujols batting just 125, 6 for 24 at the plate here in the first week of the season. Those two guys, they need to hit. That's all there is to it for this LA Angels team.
And then the other issue is just that, like, you know, they're not just facing your average major league pitcher. They're facing Sonny Gray on the other side, who does great in April. You know, a lot of people are talking about how, like, the last two times he's faced the Angels, he's gotten hit. It just, the under seems a little bit too obvious to me, and that starts to make me feel a little bit nervous. Maybe it's one of those games where, like, you load up on the under, and then the bullpens give up the runs, and it winds up going to 8, and you're like, well, maybe it wasn't as strong as I thought. But did you not think that the under was a great bet when you first analyzed this game?
I certainly wouldn't talk anyone out of the under, and I would certainly play this one under the total before I would even consider looking at the over. That is for sure. Under would be my totals lean. But the way I looked at this game, even from a slightly stronger type of opinion on this game, was from the side perspective of this particular game. Because the one concern that I do have with this particular matchup for the Angels is Nick Tropiano. I mean, this is a guy that you look at this starting rotation for the LA Angels, it's not loaded with a ton of great quality starters. I mean, Jared Weaver is on the downside of his career. Hector Santiago can be hit or miss, although he's had a pretty good start to the season and had a solid spring. Garrett Richards, to me, is the best arm on this rotation, but outside of that, Weaver's getting older, Santiago's a little bit spotty, Andrew Heaney is a young lefty that, you know, still needs to develop, has potential, but I haven't seen it realized yet, and now he's on the disabled list, and that's the reason why we're seeing Nick Tropiano in the starting rotation tonight, taking the spot of the injured Andrew Heaney, who's on the DL, and of course Matt Shoemaker, you know, a guy who's consistently regressed from that great 2014 season. He wasn't as good last year, and we saw him get absolutely lit up in his first start, allowing 6 runs on 7 hits in 3 innings against Texas in his first start of the season. So the fact Nick Tropiano battling for a rotation spot on this very, very lack of depth type of rotation that the Angels have, and still didn't earn a spot based on the way he pitched in the spring, that's a major red flag. How do you not make this rotation, Peter?
I mean, I guess, you know, a lot of times they'll send a guy down, not necessarily because they don't think he's going to be good long-term, but for all sorts of reasons. They want him to work on some pitch, want him to work on his mechanics. He had a bad spring, but we've seen lots of pitch, especially with a young guy having a bad spring, like a young guy who's done well in the majors, who's proven himself in the majors, but then goes and has a bad spring and then gets sent down. To me, that's not as huge of a red flag as it might be in other situations. I mean, he's already had 2 games in the majors against Oakland and done well. He's proven himself in the majors.
He did do well against Oakland last year. There is no question. So this is a really wait-and-see thing for me with Tropiano. One thing I know with Sonny Gray, Peter, is I'm probably going to get a good outing from him. This is a guy with a ton of upside, and I've said this previously on videos that we've shot. We've talked about the Angels a lot. The Angels, to me, are a team that just cannot, in my opinion, consistently hit above-average starting pitching. Yes. And Sonny Gray, to me, he certainly fits the bill as definitely an above-average major league starting pitcher, still the ace of this Oakland Athletics rotation, and a guy that I trust to have a very good outing here tonight against the LA Angels. I mean, when you look at Sonny Gray and how he's performed, especially in the month of April, he's been a fast starter when it comes to getting out of the gate, pitching well in the month of April. Sonny Gray, 8-1 record with a 1.95 ERA, a .98 WHIP, which is walks and hits per innings pitched, in 11 career starts in the month of April for Sonny Gray. So he's had tremendous track record this month, is able to get out of the gate, fast and pitch his best early on in the campaign. And, this ballpark is built for him. He's really fit in comfortably pitching here at the Oakland Coliseum in his career, 2.99 ERA for Gray and 40 career starts in this ballpark. So he's very, very comfortable here. We saw Oakland, Peter, open as high as minus 180. It really has dropped since then. LA Angels money has come in steadily throughout the course of the day. Oakland minus 137 to minus 140 range favorite right now across the board. And I think part of that is because Oakland's coming off a tremendous 3-game sweep against the Seattle Mariners at Safeco Field on the weekend. They played an extra inning game against Seattle yesterday in the finale. Maybe a little hangover now coming back home to face the LA Angels. Maybe a little slight concern from the betting markets about the spot here for the Oakland Athletics. But I like Sonny Gray. In terms of lineups, I mean, Oakland's not a potent lineup by any stretch of the imagination. They're not head and shoulders better in terms of hitting the baseball than the Angels, that's for sure. But they've got Sonny Gray backing them. We saw at least in the Seattle series, Oakland was able to score runs in timely fashion, scratch across enough runs to win games, get timely hits. It's not so much that you crush the baseball, it's when you get those key hits. Oakland was able to get them in that weekend series against Seattle. And with, Gray pitching well in his first start and an LA Angels lineup that right now scuffling, I don't trust them one bit to hit quality pitching. I'm going to lean toward Oakland here, laying the moderate chalk, minus 140 as a home favorite. Now we've got better value than we were able to get with Oakland at the opener when they were as high as minus 180. So now that the price has come down, it's time for me to get involved, step in, and take a look toward the Oakland Athletics laying the price tonight at home against the LA Angels.
Well, I would agree with you on that one as well. So Ian Cameron and I basically in agreement here, both of us leaning towards Oakland and the under, although Ian Cameron leaning stronger towards Oakland at minus 137 Pinnacle, and I'm leaning a bit stronger towards the under 7.5, minus 110 at Pinnacle and Heritage. Great analysis as always. Ian, talk to you again very soon.
Thanks, Peter. Enjoy the games and good luck.